So basically, just prove to me you can do those things and we're going to be fine. So it'll be similar to our last exam. I'll give you a QuickBooks file and a bunch of questions. And you just show me you can do everything. Shouldn't be stressful. Shouldn't be difficult. So you can worry about all your other files. So let's see what we can do. So how would I add a new customer? Click on customers. And I'm just in Jackson if you guys want to play along at home. Then just click new customer. Or right click and select new. And just fill in whatever information is requested. And that's the same thing for adding vendors, adding employees. Same kind of deal, just go into the various windows. What if I wanted to change some details about one of the customers that I already have? Yep. We could double click or we could right click on the customer, open up the same window which we just had, change whatever information is needed. And right now everything's set up in US dollars, but look, we could change the currency if we were doing foreign stuff. How would I delete a customer? Are you sure? Why shouldn't I do that? Right, if they've used transactions, then those transactions are gone. In this case, the one I happen to click on, you can see on the right, doesn't have any transactions, so it would be okay to delete them. But say this McCarthy's Bed and Breakfast here. Whoa. No, we don't want to do that and screw up things that we've done for years past. So, in a situation like that, rather than deleting them, if we don't want to look at them, if we don't want to have them in our view here, how would I just hide them? Right. Right click and select Make Customer Job Inactive here. I'm about a third of the way down. Are you sure you want to do that? Yep. There they go. Gone from my list. Out of my way. Let's say I clicked on the Transactions tab here. So if I clicked on the Transactions tab, rather than looking at things by customer, I can look at things by whatever type of transaction that I carried out. Invoices, sales receipts, credit memos, refunds, etc. How can I change the columns that show up in this window? Say that again? Manage transactions. Where are you looking? Oh, down here. There we go. So that looks like we're creating new transactions. Right. So if I just come over to the right side of the screen, just right click and select Customize Columns, then we can pick and choose what we want to see. Once again, customizing it to whatever we want. QuickBooks gives us lots of options, lots of things that they put in here. We don't want to use it, we don't have to. So let's say I took out aging, I took out due date, and I hit OK. Now I got fewer columns there. And we can move them around, we can change the order, we can add, we can do whatever we want there. And our vendor center would be similar to everything we just did in the customer center. So looking at the people that we purchase things from, being able to add them, being able to edit them the same way that we just did in the customer center, looking at things by specific purchase transactions, we can change the columns that show up over here as well. So that's all the same. Let's see. So where do we have our lists of products and services? Items and services up here in the upper right corner. So we've got all these different items. What if I wanted to change my sales price on one of these items? Right click the item and select edit, or we could double click on the item and then go through and say change the sales price to 45 bucks a piece. What if I wanted to add a new one? Right click and select new. And I have to do, what am I adding? Am I adding a service or am I adding an inventory item? And then fill in the necessary details. So at some point in time, if I'm in a product business and I have a bunch of inventory in my warehouse or in storage or whatever, there may be a disconnect between what I have in my QuickBooks and what I actually physically have. So how would I make my adjustment to QuickBooks to account for that difference? Right. Click Inventory Activities, adjust quantity value on hand, and then we can make that adjustment for whatever items that we want. Say I have 7 fewer blankets than in actuality than what my QuickBooks is showing. And then now you see we have the adjustment for just under 123 bucks for that. So what's happening here accounting wise by making this adjustment? What's my debit going to? cost of goods sold. So remember, expense account's almost always debited. So we're debiting cost of goods sold for the 122, 123 bucks. And what are we crediting? What's getting smaller? Right, inventory. So we have 7 fewer items in inventory than we did before. So that asset account getting smaller with a credit. Look at this, talking about the same things that we talked about on day 1 and 2 of Accounting 1. How many semesters later? Come on, you guys are not as excited about this as I am. The same rules still apply. Okay, any questions on inventory? Okay, if we want to buy something, we're going to create a purchase order. How do we do that? Yeah, click purchase order up in the upper left-hand corner. So we want to buy something. Well, we got to put in who we're going to order it from. Then fill in the items that we want. So let's buy $26,000 worth of comforters, because why not? Yep, we're stocking up. There's going to be a run on comforters in our business. There you go. Very key in an inventory business. We're going to, as we'll show in a little bit, we're going to outlay some cash for all that stuff. Somebody better buy it so we got cash to buy new stuff. Okay, someday in the future, all those comforters are going to show up in a whole bunch of boxes. And we're going to get a bill telling us how much we owe. So how would I show that I've received that stuff and that I've been billed for it? We're here to receive inventory, and we would do it with bill if you have an invoice number. So I type in American Linen and say, hey, you did a purchase order for them. I go, yep. Yes, I did. Oh, look, there it is. So then we just hit the checkbox next to the purchase order that was created. And then, hey, look, all those items filled in there for us at whatever price that we set. So we'd have to make sure we set the date. Fill in the invoice number that I give you. And then make sure the correct credit terms show up. So in this case, our credit terms are 210 net 30. What does that mean? All right, the whole thing is due within 30 days. If we pay within 10 days, we get a 2% discount. So what's going on here journal entry-wise when I create this bill? Okay, we're debiting inventory. Inventory is increasing. We're receiving all this stuff. If we're entering in a bill here, what account does that affect? What else is going up? Right, our payables are going up. We now owe $26,000 more than we did 2 minutes ago. So once we're done, hit save and close. So we ordered the product, we received the product. How am I going to pay for the product? Pay bills. Hi, anybody but Bryce and Jacob alive today? Anybody else want to talk? I can call on you guys. So we just select the bill that we want to pay. How do I factor in the discount if I'm paying it within the discount period? Click Set Discount. So we'd use account purchase discounts. Oh man, it didn't put in the number for us. Anybody want to multiply 2% times 26,162.50? 523.25. And we'd use account purchase discounts for ones that we're buying. Our scenario has a little bit of a problem. Anybody see our checkbook balance right now? We are at negative 14,000 and we're going to try and write a check for $25,000. That could be a problem. Make sure we have a signed check number selected at the bottom here. Click Pay Bills and type in whatever check number that I give you. So that was receiving bills for inventory. What about if we receive bills for any other expenses that we use in business? We could go to write checks if we're paying it right away. Or we want to go to enter bill. So depending upon what I tell you, whether it be to enter the bill or pay it without creating a bill, we would go straight to write checks. We go to enter bills, fill in whatever. Let's see. We'll enter one to Ohio Power and Light. We'd come under the expenses tab and then expense out whatever account that we're using. So what's happening here when I enter a bill for my utilities? So what journal entry is going on? Right, we're debiting the utilities expense. And what's our credit go to? To accounts payable. So showing that we owe it again. I probably won't be too mean and throw an invoice number at you like that. Or we could just go down to write checks, fill in who we're paying, and how much. Man, our checkbook balance sucks. I guess we better make some money. So what if somebody buys something from me for cash? How would we go about recording that? Go to Create Sales Receipt here on the home page. We'd enter in the customer, put in how they paid, and the check number, and then whatever items that we sent them. Any questions on a sales receipt? So we'd hit save and close. So on that sales receipt, I got paid, right? What am I going to do with that check after I receive it? Right, we got to deposit it. We got to take it to the bank. So we'd click record deposits. And then, hey, there's my check. Look at that. So I'd check the little box, hit OK, and then that shows up in my deposit. What if somebody's going to buy something from me on credit? So I'm not going to get paid right away. What do I do? What was that? Create invoices. So we'll go to create invoices on the home page. By golly, we're going to make up that balance yet. I know, only sell 34 then. So once we're done, hit save and close. So we billed the Oaklawn Hotel about $18,000. At some point in time, hopefully, we're going to get paid $18,000. So how do I record that they've paid us? Right, click Receive Payments here on the home page, or go under Customers, Receive Payments. What if they're paying within the discount period? How would I factor that in? You got discounts and credits on the very top of the screen. So they get a $371 discount. Because it's happening on the sales side now, our discount account would be sales discounts. And you see once I hit the checkbox, it fills in how much they'd be paying as far as the difference between what they were billed and the discount that we just applied. So once we're done, hit save and close again. And I've recorded my payment. Any questions on sales transactions? What if we sell a product that the customer doesn't like and they want to send it back? How do we record them sending it back? Refunds and credits. Down here in the lower right corner. Fill in what they send back and how many of them they send back. And we have our options depending upon whether they owe us money or not. Hopefully the one I picked here still owes us money, so we just apply it to what they owe us. So we did that. At some point in time, a customer that owes you money will not pay you. And that money is gone. We ain't going to get it. We're tired of looking at that balance in our customer center every month. So how would we go about writing off their account? So what was that? So we'll go into receive payments. We'll select a customer that owes us money here. So for example, Travers Bed and Breakfast. Then we'll come up here to discounts and credits, and we'll put in the amount that we're writing off, which in this case is going to be the whole stinking thing. And what should our discount account be? Bad debt expense. So rather than sales discounts, we change the account to, bad debt expense. And then we should write in the memo so we know later. So if I go back to my customer center and Travers Bed and Breakfast, you can see their balance is now nothing. We wiped that amount away. Boy, wasn't that nice of us. So any questions on a refund or a write-off? Come up with the 3 R's of accounting here. Refunds, write-offs, and reconciliations. So how do I reconcile my checkbook? Click on reconcile. Then what should I do? So we'd put in whatever the ending balance is on our bank statement. If we had a service charge or if we had any interest earned, we'd fill that in. And then what do we do? Right, so we check off the items that are on our bank statement, the items that have cleared the bank. Any items that have not cleared the bank, we would leave unchecked. And that's the list I'm going to provide you, is the ones that have not cleared. So those are the items that should remain unchecked. So for example, I just check off all these things. I check off all the deposits. See, I ignored the transactions that we just added in today, the ones in May. Because I'm going to have you reconciling a previous month. So whatever stuff you put in over the course of the examination, that should be unchecked, because as of your bank statement, that hasn't happened yet. Because you're going to be doing stuff in May, your bank statement's going to be as of April 30th. So of course that stuff isn't on there. So don't get caught up checking off too many things with those transactions. When we get all done, our difference in the bottom right corner should be 0. If it is not 0, you are not done. Once we're done, hit reconcile now. Bloop, 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 bloop. And then we're ready to move on to the next month. So we looked at here, QuickBooks has a lot of buttons, a lot of things to make our life easier as far as how we carry out these transactions. And being able to do these things without entering in the debit and the credit. But what if I have a transaction where I have to do a journal entry? It's unavoidable. There is no fancy little button. What should I do to make a journal entry? Click company and make general journal entries. And then we can plug in whatever debit and credit that we want. We have our full chart of accounts at our disposal. So what kind of a journal entry could I do? None? That's disappointing. Not one journal entry we can think of? Okay. So what's the journal entry to record depreciation? What do we debit? Okay, what's the expense? So we debit depreciation expense. And what's the credit? Accumulated depreciation. Then hit save and close. We could have also done our bad debt write-off that way, debiting bad debt expense, crediting the accounts receivable, and then just select the account of the specific customer. So we talked about that. Went through reconciling. How would I make an income statement? Oh, look, there it is. Just double click. It's going to default to the most recent period, or at least what's showing up in this computer, in this system. So you'd want to set the date. Oh, bad date. Then what should I do with that report? How will you turn it in? Export it to Excel. Click the Excel button up here. Get it out to Excel. Okay. So we looked at our chart of accounts there when we were paying our bills, when we were just looking at what journal entries to do. How would I add a new account to my chart of accounts? What if I'm running into an expense account that I've never used before? We'll click on chart of accounts and select new, and then type in whatever thing that we want, whether it's an income account, an expense account, a fixed asset that we purchased, a new bank account, a new credit card. We went through credit cards last time. So I'd select my expense. What's a good expense account we could use? That's too general. We want to be specific. Capital what? Oh, travel expense. Sure. Hey, there it is. I should have put a number in so it matched the rest of them, but whatever. When we were going through the purchase activities, I forgot to talk about how do we return something that we bought? So we went through a return from a customer, but what if we want to do the returning? Right. So we click enter bills, and you make sure you check the radio button for credit up in the upper left corner. So then it records it as sending it back. How would I record a miscellaneous cash receipt? So what if we got paid for something that's not necessarily what we're in business to do? So let's say we got a loan. How would I record in here that I got a loan? What were you saying, Nate? Right, we go into record deposits. And we put in who it's from. So we'd ignore the check that I recorded earlier, and we just have to fill in the details in this window. And then putting whatever account necessary. There we go. Now we're not broke. We can't be in the red anymore. How would I send a statement to one of my customers saying, here's how much money you owe me, please pay me? Click on statements here. And we walk through the steps as far as what date is it? What time period is it for? And are we doing it for all customers? Or are we doing it for one customer? And we could print or email the statement. So any questions on anything that we've done in QuickBooks this semester? Anything at all? Then it's too late to ask questions.